Hi guys, I know it's been forever since I did a video, but there's kind of something that's been on my mind for the last couple days and it's bugging me, so I felt like maybe if I did a video and I got it out of my system I would feel better. Okay, I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible, but something that really annoys me are people who are so incredibly self-obsessed with their own life and their own problems that they can't see anything past that. Like, the world revolves around them and their problems, and their circle of friends and acquaintances are there to help them, and pretty much that's it. They never give anything back in return. I don't know if it's something to do with my personality that attracts these people to me, but it seems like I have had so many of these people come into my life in the last 10 or 15 years. And this person that I wanted to talk about, I'm not going to use any names, not that she ever watches any of my videos or anything, but she and I became friends a few years ago, and we actually met on a message board, and it turned out we lived really close to each other. So we started hanging out, and we became really good friends. And, you know, we would talk practically every day. We would hang out at each other's houses and have movie night and go out to dinner and stuff like that, and everything was cool. And slowly, as I got to know her, she was like, I think one of the reasons we got along so well is because we were really opposites. You know, she's extremely loud and not really a partier, but, you know, she's very much a people person. You know, she will, like, go and talk to complete strangers and have, like, hour conversations with them. And, you know, you always know when she's there because you can hear her because, like I said, she's very loud. And she's a drinker, you know. And, see, that's the other thing, is that she drinks and she becomes a completely different person. And I don't know if it's because she's been drinking more lately that, you know, this side of her personality is coming out more. But, anyway, so the more I got to know her, the more I realized that she was not the kind of person that I thought she was. She was very petty and very jealous. We got into a lot of situations with other people, like people that I thought were mutual friends who really weren't mutual friends, but it would turn into a situation like straight out of high school or middle school, or like a scene out of Mean Girl. It's kind of surreal for me because you know, I had my close group of friends in high school, so I didn't really have any Mean Girl moments, so it's kind of strange that I'm going through this in my 30s. But anyway, she and I ended up having a falling out, and so we weren't really talking or anything like that, and it kind of turned into one of those situations where the people that we were mutually friends with kind of all sided with her, you know, and I knew for a fact that she was telling these people how I was a bitch to her and I lied to her, and, you know, I did all of these things to her that never actually happened. And because I've had that happen to me in the past, I wasn't going to try and fight with this. I wasn't going to try and fight them on it. So I just kind of let it go. And lo and behold, a couple months later, she emails me and says how much she misses me. She knows that we had problems in the past, and that, you know, she wants to put it behind us, and she knows she wasn't a very good friend to me, blah, blah, blah. We start talking again. Everything seems alright. And lo and behold, she starts acting like a bitch again, like this crazy bitch. We have another falling out, and I don't have anything to do with her again, and something happens in her life where somebody died that was really close to her. So being the dumb bitch that I am, I've tried to reach out to her because I know what it's like to lose somebody that's really close to you. I know what it feels like. And so I emailed her, and at first everything seemed fine, and, you know, it's just, make a long story short, it was like a cycle. You know, she would be fine for a little while, and then she would just turn into bitch mode. And it was like, when we were still on speaking terms, if I was having a problem, she magically was never there to listen to me. She was never there to try and help me. Whereas, she would call me 3 o'clock in the morning crying because, she got into a fight with her ex-boyfriend. And I would always, even though I had to get up 3 hours later to go to work, I would always try and be there for her. So it was never reciprocated. And, come back to like a couple of weeks ago. I noticed on Twitter, why I was following her on Twitter, I have no idea. But actually, one of the people that, it's not important. Anyway, on Twitter, I noticed that she was really upset, and it turned out that she lost somebody else. One of her ex-boyfriends had killed himself. And this, meanwhile, not to, make light of it or anything like that, but this is not the ex-boyfriend that she would call me crying about. This was one that she constantly complained about, said what an ass he was, how he treated her like shit, and all this other stuff. But I can understand her being upset. So anyway, for 2 days on Twitter, she wrote all this stuff, basically sounding suicidal herself. And, all these people were sending her messages, emailing her. She completely ignored all of them. And I think the last thing she wrote was, saying that she's not strong enough to deal with this. She apologizes, but she just can't do it anymore. And, all these people were freaking out about it. And the next day, she starts talking about her trip to Vegas and how excited she is about her trip to Vegas and, how much fun they were going to have and, how she was going to be able to drink and her mother wasn't going to be able to bitch at her about it. Meanwhile, she's like a 43-year-old woman and she's worrying about her mother bitching at her about drinking, which I think says a lot right there. But, yeah, so one day she sounds like she's suicidal. The next day she's talking about how excited and happy she is about her vacation to Vegas. And I'm thinking to myself, this woman needs some serious fucking help. Okay, she's obviously either bipolar or she's got some kind of psychological problem. Because, I know she was doing all that stuff to try and get attention. And maybe she wasn't getting as much attention as she wanted. But there's something really wrong with that. Really wrong. So, after her trip to Vegas, she emails me again, and it's the usual story about how she misses me, she wants to be friends with me again. And she asked me, point blank, why we weren't friends anymore. And I explained to her, I told her, I'm like, well, I've tried to be there for you, I don't get anything in return, every time you have a problem, instead of, coming to me with the problem, you bitch about me to other people, and, don't talk to me for months at a time. And I'm like, I'm really just not in the mood for this childish high school type behavior. High school was a long time ago. I have no desire to go back to it. And so I didn't hear anything else about that. And I'm like, you know what? This is ridiculous. Why the hell do I keep opening myself up to these people? Especially her. Because looking back on it, the actual time that we were really genuine, well, not genuine, but the actual time when we were friends, if you discount all the time that, we weren't talking to each other, she wasn't that great of a friend. Okay, so why do I keep trying? Why do I keep, responding to her? Even though I was honest in the email and I told her what pissed me off about her, I should have just ignored her like she ignored me. And I'm just, especially the last 24 hours, because somebody else came to me, one of her friends, and she's like, well, why don't you come to the message board anymore? Why don't you talk to, everybody? Everybody misses you and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I don't really feel comfortable there anymore, so I stay away. And she asked me, why, and I tried to explain the situation, and she sat there and she made all kinds of excuses for this woman. And I'm thinking to myself, what is the power of this woman? What does she do, that she's got all of these little mindless sheep following after her that just hang on everything she says and just think she's so incredibly great. And there's other stuff I can get into, trust me on this, it's like Mean Girl. She's got her little posse behind her that just, think her shit doesn't stink. She's just like the queen of the castle, and I don't get it. I don't understand why these people think this about her when she treats everyone like shit. It doesn't make any sense to me, and it's been really bothering me over the last couple days. And yeah, and I realize this video really didn't, it probably makes no sense at all, but I guess I had to get it out of my system. So anyway, if you guys have thoughts, if anybody out there is even watching this and have thoughts, leave me a comment, make me a video response, do something, just, because just sitting here talking about it is giving me a headache. Yeah, so I guess that's it. So like I said, if anybody out there has any kind of advice or similar stories or whatever, let me know. Let me know that I'm not alone and that I'm not crazy to be like completely messed up over this whole situation. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.